Yo, what's up everybody? Eyecee here and welcome to another NBA video. This one's for October 26th, 9-game slate. Real quick, I want to apologize for the late video. This should have been up a lot sooner, but a lot of stuff happened. I wasn't able to put it up. Alas, it's here, better late than never. So hope you guys can enjoy this now. Hopefully you guys tuned into the video yesterday. I identified some really good players that were very low owned. Kobe White, Jaylen Brown, Frank Kaminsky. These guys I was really keen on. Unfortunately, Mason Plumlee didn't do it for me. I only picked Mason Plumlee because I thought Denver would blow Phoenix Suns out of the water, and Jokic would get benched early and Plumlee would play garbage minutes, and that would bode well for him. But they went to overtime. Go figure. That sucked. John Morant, $100 more, and I could have gotten Shai Gilgeous here and gotten 52 DraftKings points, so double the output here. He didn't kill me, but he didn't do too good considering that Shai Gilgeous was $100 more. And Anthony Davis, this was one of three lineups I had Anthony Davis in. I played around 47 lineups. I only had 3 Anthony Davis lineups. I didn't like Anthony Davis at all. If you watched the video, I said I hated this game. It'd be the lowest scoring game of the slate, and it was, I think. I don't know. Yeah, it was the lowest scoring game by a point. By 1 point, it was lower than the Washington OKC game, but by 1 point. So yeah, that was that slate. This one was probably my best 329 of the night. John Morant here again kind of screwed me over. Thaddeus Young didn't do nearly as what I thought, but he was a hit or miss spot for me. He was either gonna hit or he was gonna miss, and he missed. Kobe White again, Kaminsky again, Jaylen Brown again, Doncic again, and in this one I had Karl-Anthony Towns. I had Karl-Anthony Towns in half of my lineups. But honestly, I didn't even play that much Karl-Anthony Towns. I didn't feel like I had to. There was a lot of plays here at cheaper prices that had similar upside, so I was fine with not going with Towns. I did say he was one of the better plays though, but the price would be something that put me off, and it did. However, in this lineup, I did go with him, and I ended up doing really well. This is my GPP, but McCollum let me down. And then in this lineup, Gordon Hayward, Elfrid Payton let me down. Shai Gilgeous, Siakam were good, and all the guys pretty much the same. Kobe White here again, Frank Kaminsky here again. I went with Gordon Hayward over Jaylen Brown. I kind of want to slap myself, but I did. So, whatever, it happens. Anyways, you guys aren't here for all of that. You guys are here for today's slate. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Starting with the Philadelphia and Detroit game. Things to consider is Detroit's Jackson and Morris's injury news. If they're going to be out, it makes me like Kennard and Rose a little bit more. But let's just start with the Philadelphia 76ers. Embiid and Drummond have a lot of history together here. I expect a good game for both of them. However, Embiid usually gets the better of Drummond. He is also $200 cheaper here. He also has a questionable tag, which probably means a lot of people won't pick him because they're going to see the Q and just be scared. I'm going to be picking Embiid a lot. I liked him. I'll ride or die with Embiid here today. He got into foul trouble the last game, which is why he played 23 minutes, which is another thing people will see and be like, oh, he only played 23 minutes, and they won't see the personal fouls here. And just like Jaylen Brown, people saw he played 20 minutes, but they didn't see that he fouled out basically of the game. He had 5 fouls in 20 minutes. That's why he played 20 minutes, and Embiid played 23 minutes because he had foul trouble. So all these things I'm already looking at here, and I already know Embiid is going to be one of my most favorite plays on the slate tomorrow. Definitely picking a lot of Embiid tomorrow. Aside from Embiid, all 4 of these starters are in play here. All 4 of these are going to see an upwards of 30-plus minutes. Any one of these guys can go off. My favorite of these guys will be Ben Simmons because he has a clear-cut matchup advantage. He's going up against an undersized Derrick Rose. Langston Galloway can't really do much against him. So he's in an uptick spot here for me. If Markieff Morris plays, he's someone that could do a little bit. He's an in-your-face type of defender, but it's Ben Simmons, man. His shot's better now. It's the beginning of the season. He's going to be motivated to go off in this matchup in particular. So Ben Simmons is going to be good. And then Philly also has that history with Markieff Morris and the Boston Celtic player. So there's also that. So it's not just Drummond here that Philly has an issue with. There's also Markieff Morris. Of course, Tobias Harris and Al Horford are also in play. Very consistent players. It's just hard for me to imagine that all of these guys are going to eat. If I had to take a gander and say who's not going to eat tomorrow, I would say it's Al Horford. I say more often than not, Al Horford tries to defend Drummond and try to really shut him down. It's going to be a combined effort, but I think Al Horford focuses on that. Just like he did when he played against Embiid. That's basically what he did. He tried to shut down Embiid. So that's his role here. He's going to try and shut down Drummond, which makes me like Drummond a little bit less because Al Horford's a pretty decent defender, and Philly in general is a better defensive team. They're all very long, tall defensive guys. Even Josh Richardson is 6'6", so Very long defensive team. So the starters are all okay with me. Embiid's my favorite. Ben Simmons my second favorite. Al Horford's my least favorite. But all these guys are gonna see 30 plus minutes, man. This matchup is gonna be amazing for them. This game atmosphere is gonna be great. Should be competitive, at least for the most part. So I'm okay with these guys here. Some cheaper guys to consider if Mike Scott's out is my Thibault, Kylo Quinn. Both these guys should see a little bit of uptick in minutes. Thibault in particular is someone that the 76ers are very high on. They love this kid. Ben Simmons gone out and said that he's the best defender on the team. And he's so young. So that's saying something, right? So he's someone that's definitely in play. He took 5 shots, made 1 last game. Right? Yeah, so I mean, there's a little bit of a upside here if Mike Scott's out in this matchup, especially if Philly ends up blowing them out. So there's that to consider as well, because Philly is just a way better team than Detroit in general, right? But Thibault could definitely have an uptick here. Kylo Quinn could definitely have an uptick here. So I'd consider these guys, but that's about it for me. On the Detroit side, Drummond would be in play for sure. However, Al Horford and Embiid he's going up against, he has a foul trouble history. He could get into foul trouble too. So who knows? Someone gets under his skin and he gets into foul trouble. That could very well happen. However, he's probably one of the best plays upside wise. He just has a lot of upside here, and the matchup is decent. It's a competitive matchup. He's going to be motivated, and so long as he stays out of foul trouble, he's going to be getting the minutes. No Blake Griffin. He's going to be getting a lot of the usage, a lot of volume, a lot of opportunity to score, and he's going to be fighting for the boards. So Drummond's definitely in play for me. However, I'd probably go with Embiid, all truth be told. But definitely you could play Drummond. Nothing wrong with that. It's just me in particular. Personally, I'm going to go with Embiid. Now, Rose and Kennard are in play for me, even more in play for me if either one of these two guys are missing. I like both of these guys. However, they're both in a tougher matchup here against the 76ers. 76ers are a pretty defensively good team. They have good defenders on every position, so it's going to be tough for these guys. What does Rose usually do? He drives up to the basket and lays it in, but you're going to have to go up against Embiid, Ben Simmons, Al Horford, Tobias Harris. All of these guys are very tall, strong. And then you also have Josh Richardson, who's like 6'6". So Derrick Rose is undersized here. And yeah, it's Derrick Rose. He's very fast. He's playing phenomenally well right now. I'd be interested to see how he does here. But my gut tells me it's a tough matchup spot for him. So I'm not going to have too much of Derrick Rose. He does have a lot of the minutes, though. There's going to be a lot of usage to go around, especially if these two guys are missing. So I could even stack these 3 guys even. Like, there's a scenario in my head where it says these 3 guys all do good. Aside from that, Tony Snell is someone I'll be looking at. He plays around 33 minutes, but he gets around 18 DraftKings points. Go figure. He gets 0.5 points per minute, but he's going to be playing a lot of minutes, especially if Morris or Jackson is out. They're going to need Tony Snell's size and length against the 76ers, so he's going to be on the court a lot. And when you're on the court a lot, you have an opportunity to perform. And just by being on the court for 33 minutes at this price point, he's going to be in play for me. He's going to be one of the safer plays or cheaper plays that I'll be going to for value. But the upside is not here for Tony Snell. He doesn't have the upside. Someone with more upside, but with the less of a safer floor is Langston Galloway. He's going to see around 20 minutes, so he's not going to be on the floor a lot. But he has more upside. He shoots the ball decently. He shot 7 threes against Atlanta, made 2. So if his shots falls, there's a scenario where he ends up doing better with more upside than Tony Snell. But aside from that, that's pretty much it for this game. Moving on to the Boston and New York game. Boston is still without Cantor. And just straight up, Robert Williams, someone I'm going to be playing a lot. I know Daniel Theis came back to the game, but usually when you get an injury like that, if you continue to move around and walk around, you'll be able to move around and walk around for that time. But as soon as you go to sleep, your shit stiffens up, and when it stiffens up, it's way worse. And I have a good feeling Daniel Theis is going to be stiffed up today. He's going to be very stiff. If he plays, he's gonna play very limited minutes. And why are you gonna risk him, especially when you have Robert Williams, who played fantastic yesterday? You also have the other Williams here, Grant Williams, who also can see a little bit of run here. So those 2 guys are someone to consider here. Robert Williams' price is increased here, but he's someone that could perform in the minutes he's gonna be seeing. He should be seeing around 25 minutes at least if Theis is out. So there's that to consider. Aside from that, in general, on the Boston side, Kemba Walker's in a great pace matchup here. 8,200. I don't mind him. He really came through for the Celtics yesterday against the Raptors in the 4th quarter. If it wasn't for him and the referees, there's no way they would have won. Tatum, he was playing very well yesterday. I expect him to continue that hot streak going into New York. Great matchup for him. Hayward, I'm not really too keen on. Again, I said in my video yesterday that I liked Hayward's price at 6,100, but when I realized Jaylen Brown got into foul trouble, I was like, oh, that's the reason why Hayward really did well. If Brown didn't get into foul trouble, then usually Brown does well, and that's what happened yesterday. Brown's the guy that's going to be demanding the ball and wanting the ball. Hayward's a nice guy, man. He's not a feisty guy. He's not going to argue with you. He's going to try and want to do what to do to make the team win. He doesn't want to cause problem. Jaylen Brown, as we already know, is a little outspoken. He doesn't care. And, he's 5,000. He's $100 cheaper than yesterday. He's in a better matchup than he was yesterday against the Toronto Raptors. Jaylen Brown is someone I'm definitely going to be going back to again today. His ownership is obviously going to be elevated because of yesterday's performance. And he was 2.5% owned yesterday. But that's definitely not going to happen today. But he still has the same upside, similar usage, and someone I'd definitely be looking to and considering. Marcus Smart, 4,900. The Energizer Bunny for the Celtics off the bench. Always in play, but in very small percentages. Marcus Smart doesn't really go out there looking to score. Sometimes he does, but more often than not, he just goes out there just to shore up the bench mob, make sure everybody's doing what the coach wants them to do. And then he's just out there defending his teams and sticking up for them and all that. Very hard-working player. One of my favorite players to watch. I respect Marcus Smart a lot. Tomorrow against New York, he's in a good spot in the matchup-wise. But honestly, there's other guys I'd go to at this price. Robert Williams, a cheap guy I'd consider. But that's pretty much it. I wouldn't really look at anybody else here. And then some of the point guards to consider. Wanamaker got a decent amount of run yesterday, 9 minutes. He was very productive in his 9 minutes. Maybe because it's a back-to-back to give him a little bit more run here, and they really don't want to use Kemba that much. And then Carson Edwards, the other guy, he's the guy that shot those 7 3-pointers in a row or 9 3-pointers in preseason. That was the Celtics record. He saw 11 minutes, didn't have a good game, shot the ball 5 times, made 1 shot. But GBP plays, I wouldn't really be too keen on either of these guys in general. But if it is a blowout and they are on a back-to-back, then either one of these guys could hit value in their 15 to 20 minutes at this price. You'd really need 18, and they could definitely get that. So I'm just saying that, but I wouldn't necessarily be playing these guys at all tomorrow. Not much. But aside from that, who else do we like? Do we like anybody else? I don't really like anybody else here. So, it would be Robert Williams. Grant Williams I'd give consideration to. He's also a very productive player, 21 minutes. So, as you can see, 21 minutes at this price point. He's definitely in play. New York does have a lot of size and strength. And he's another guy that's not scared to, go out there and stick his neck on the line. He's also in play for me. So, Grant Williams would be my favorite cheap punt option from the Celtics, more than Wanamaker and Carson Edwards. It would be Grant Williams. But if I had to pick a center that fills in the void that they're missing from Cantor and Thies, it would be Robert Williams. Alright, on to the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks. Man, these guys were making everybody really, really upset yesterday, at least until the fourth quarter. These guys were all stinking it up, but then they came through in the fourth. I like Julius Randle here against Boston. Boston sucks at rebounding, but with Robert Williams there, they're a little bit better. Julius Randle is going to be really low owned tomorrow because he kind of burned a lot of people yesterday. Same thing with RJ Barrett. Same thing with Morris. A lot of these Knicks guys are going to be very low owned yesterday because they're up against a very good defensive team. They're on a back-to-back. They play a lot of minutes, but they're on a back-to-back. And there's a chance that they just get destroyed here. Just being honest. There's a good chance they get destroyed here. One of my favorite plays here, though, would be Marcus Morris. He had a dud of a game yesterday. He did play 33 minutes. Got into a little bit of a foul problem, so he couldn't play too aggressively against his former team. I think he's the one that used to play here, right? Maybe I could be wrong, but I think this is the Morris on the Boston. They both used to play, man. I have a theory that the Markieff Morris and the Morris twins, they switch positions. Their mom tells them the good brother to play for the bad brother's team because the bad brother is looking bad now, and she's like, I want both of my sons to look good. So Markieff, you're gonna go help Marcus out tonight, and I'm just kidding, man. I'm still very tired. But yeah, Marcus Morris here against Boston is someone I'd consider. He's a very feisty, aggressive guy. It's a great matchup for him. Atmosphere-wise, he'd really be into the game here, going up against these Boston defenders. So definitely in play for me. Bobby Portis not so much. Mitchell Robinson not so much. I mean, both of these guys have good rebounding upside against Boston, who's really bad at rebounding. But at this price, I'd go to other guys. But yeah, RJ Barrett, I'd still have some consideration for him. He's really good, and he's getting a lot of usage, a lot of run. They're really trying to get him going. At this price, I mean, he can still hit the 37 he needs. 37.8. He can get the 37.8 that I need him to get, but it's a tough matchup. Like, honestly, I'm not too excited about a lot of these New York players. I know you have to do a little bit of thinking here and put them in consideration for sure, but overall, I'm not really too keen on these New York players here. But there's a lot of minutes to be going around here, and you know, someone somewhere is gonna be doing good. If I had to pick someone from this game, I'm not really too keen on anybody. I'm just being honest. If I had to, though, I would probably go with Morris or Barrett. The price range makes me feel like they can hit their value easier. Alfred Payton just coming off of a terrible game, like terrible by his standards, but he's going to see around the same amount of minutes, and this price is a little bit too high based on the matchup as well. Alright, next game, Orlando Magic versus the Atlanta Hawks. Vucevic always in play. Just remember, Vucevic is always in play. 8,300, Vucevic is always in play. Always in play. Aaron Gordon, 6,400. Against Atlanta, he should be in play. I think there's a little mini dunk contest going on between John Collins and Aaron Gordon here. Just a little mini one. I feel Aaron Gordon is going to be a little bit motivated here to do well. He saw 28 minutes in the previous game against Cleveland. These guys play very slowly. Orlando plays at a very slow pace. So I don't know how this really pans out. Atlanta plays very fast. There's a lot of turnovers against Atlanta. So there's a lot of upside for the Orlando players to get some extra steals and rebounds and stuff like that. Sorry. But Aaron Gordon, 6,400. I'm sure there's other guys at this price I'd rather go to. But I'd have some slight consideration for him. Jonathan Isaac at this price, also slight consideration for him. He does a little bit of everything. He played very limited minutes against the Cleveland Cavaliers. But against Atlanta Hawks, he's in a better spot here. Faster up-tempo game. A little bit more meaningful of a matchup. Atlanta Hawks are astronomically better than the Cavaliers, so this should just be a better game in general. I feel like the Magic players are going to be more inclined to perform here. They're not going to really, brush off the Hawks like they did the Cavaliers and just go out there and not really try and just get the job done. I feel like Orlando's really going to have a better game of the season here against the Hawks tomorrow, and Jonathan Isaac is going to be leading that charge. Aside from that, Evan Fournier, DJ Augustine, two guys I'd consider based on their starter minutes, but there's other guys at the prices I'd rather go to. Evan Fournier I have slightly more interest in. His matchup against the Hawks is much, much better. He's someone that could get streaky and hot, and as you can see, he was one of the better performers in the first game for the Magic. So I expect him to carry that forward. He had a really shitty preseason, but that was to be expected. He was one of their older players, so you don't really play that many vets in preseason, right? So Evan Fournier against Atlanta Hawks, I like this matchup for him. He's someone I'd consider. Terrence Ross, 4,400, also very cheap. Someone I'd consider. He could easily go off. Markelle Fultz, surprisingly, has been doing really, really well. And good for the kid. I'm really happy for the kid. He's playing 23 minutes last game. It was against the Cavaliers. Against the Hawks, who are a similar team, just a lot better talent-wise. Maybe he does it against here too. Who knows? Definitely someone to consider and look at. He dropped a triple-double in his last regular season game for the 76ers before he was traded. So he does have upside here. 2 years ago he was traded. Sorry. He was traded halfway through the season last year, I believe. Yeah, he was. Halfway through the season he was traded. But 2 years ago, at the end of the season, he dropped a triple-double, became the youngest NBA player ever to drop a triple-double. But, of course, he had that whole issue with the shot and all that. But it looks like that's behind him. He's playing with a lot more confidence. He's looked really good in preseason. And, yes, in last game, he looked really good, too. So, definitely in consideration here. Aside from that, some of these other guys I'm not really too keen on. Michael Carter-Williams just had a really shitter of a game. And he's inclined to do that. He's Michael Carter-Williams. He's earned the right to have bad games. MCW, man, he's a really frustrating player. He could go out there and drop 40 DraftKings points, or he could go out there and drop 6. But yeah, from the Orlando Magic side, not very keen on anybody. I'd like Fournier. I like Terrence Ross if he gets hot. He's at 4,400. He easily get 30 drafting points and be in a smash spot and save you some salary in the process. Uh, But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Atlanta Magic side. The Atlanta Hawks side, Trae Young. I love Trae Young, but the matchup with the Magic, Augustine, Michael Carter-Williams, Fournier, they're going to try their best to slow Trae Young down, but Trae Young's still going to put up his shots. Trae Young can make tough shots. Trae Young is a really, really, really good shooter. Atlanta revolves around him. Everything goes through Trae Young. Trae Young's in play for me. It's just that there's a lot of people at this price that I could consider as well, so I won't be too high on Trae Young tomorrow, but he is in consideration for me. John Collins should be in a good matchup here against Orlando Magic. Vucevic is a tough matchup, but overall, John Collins is someone that just goes out there and performs. He's a PPM monster. Last year, he was a top 20 fantasy producer, and he's going to do the same thing this year. He's in a good spot here, a good matchup here. I expect him and Aaron Gordon to have a little bit of a mini dunk-off. At least 1 or 2 dunks, you know. I expect that tomorrow. They owe it to us. Alex Len, 5,200. I kind of ended up pivoting to him a lot the other day, last second. I shouldn't have done that. And tomorrow is actually a good spot for him because you're going to need him, his size. But he doesn't play that many minutes, man. He just 23 minutes is what he gets. And there's a lot of risk with Alex Len. Can he go off? Sure, he can easily go off. But there's a lot more risk in my fantasy world of him not going off, and at the salary, I'm not excited. DeAndre Hunter had a decent first outing. Jabari Parker had a better game than him, which was surprising that he got 22 minutes. But Jabari Parker is just a weird guy on this team, man. He's just an older guy surrounded by a bunch of young guys, and a lot of those young guys play his position, unfortunately. So he has to go out there and be a good vet every single night and lead by example. He did the previous game, which was good. But 19.75 doesn't really do it for me. He needs closer to 27 today, and I'm not really keen on Jabari Parker. Kevin Huerter was supposed to play 15 minutes. He played 14. Was his first game back after a little bit of an injury stint, so expected. Keep an eye on the news to see if he's getting an increase in minutes or not. If he is getting an increase in minutes, I might consider him a little bit more. DeAndre Bembry at 3,200 was a really good play for me, but at 3,900, I don't really like him with some of the other guys I've already identified in the earlier games. But someone that, as I said, was ball handling a lot more. He was given the ball to play make, and he did a pretty decent job. It's just that Huerter's back. And then you have Hunter and Reddish also fighting for that similar spot here, and Jabari Parker. So I just, it's just too many mouths to feed, and based on that, I'm not really liking any of these guys in that position. I'd really just go with Trae Young here as my safest option, and then John Collins would be the next guy up, followed by Alex Len, and that just in order here. All these guys are going to be fighting for each other's minutes and usage and volume, and yeah, someone's gotta do good, but it's like Charlotte, you gotta figure it out, and more often than not, you could easily get it wrong. And why take all that risk when you could find better plays and some other spot, right? So with that said, going to my favorite game of the night, the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Houston Rockets. This game is the best game, highest scoring game of the slate in my opinion. I don't look at Vegas stats right now. I just have a good idea of how this is going to go. This is going to be the highest scoring game of the slate, no doubt about it. Pelicans play at a super fast pace, so do the Rockets. Very high scoring game. Starting with the Pelicans, Jrue Holiday is going to have to be guarding Harden and Westbrook a lot. He could tire him out, but he could also flourish at the same time because Harden and Westbrook don't really defend, and Harden and Westbrook take a lot of shots. They turn over the ball a lot, so there is chance for Jrue Holiday to get a little bit of an uptick in usage. But at this price, 8,500, there's a lot of other guys I'd rather go to than Jrue Holiday, truth be told. So he's not someone I'm going to be playing a lot tomorrow. Brandon Ingram at 6,900, another guy I might not play that much. He's in consideration, but not someone I'm going to be playing that much. Lonzo Ball would be in play 100%, but it's Alvin freaking Gentry, and he's a dumbass coach just like Dwayne Casey. It is a back-to-back, so who knows? He might end up reducing Lonzo's minutes and playing in Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Frank Jackson some minutes like he did the first game. I don't know why he did that still. It's still driving me nuts that he did that. Oh, I'm riding the hot hand. Like, you're a stupid guy. You ride the hot hand, and then at the end, Lonzo doesn't play from 6 minutes in the third quarter all the way till the end of the game, and then they go into overtime and he puts Lonzo in when Lonzo didn't play for the last 30 minutes of real time. Like, he didn't play 18 minutes of game time, but it was like 30-40 minutes had gone by and Lonzo was sitting on the bench. All of a sudden the coach like, go Lonzo, go, we need you, Lonzo, go. This guy comes out cold, and what do you think is going to happen? So if his minutes aren't restricted tomorrow and he's going to play the 30-something minutes he played yesterday, then 100% Lonzo Ball's in play for me. I love Lonzo Ball's matchup against the Rockets tomorrow. Oh my God. It's just the minutes and the coach that drives me nuts. This coach is stupid. This coach is beyond stupid. I love the way he plays with the pace, but his rotations are ridiculous, man. Like, really stupid rotations from Alvin Gentry. Yeah, he's still trying to figure it out, but God, Alvin Gentry. Alright, Derek Favors, he had a little bit of a bounce back game yesterday, but not what we needed. Still seeing reduced minutes, so 21 minutes of Derek Favors, I don't want that. I'm not going to play that. JJ Redick, no, I'm not going to be playing JJ Redick either. I'd rather go with Eric Gordon. JJ Redick barely saw the floor yesterday. Or he barely took any shots yesterday. He took 3 shots yesterday. I don't want that. I don't want JJ Redick taking 3 shots. I'd rather go with Eric Gordon, who takes like 17 shots. It was $100 more. So Eric Gordon's probably going to be the guy I'm defaulting to. But it is a pivot, right? So there's a lot of other guys at this price point too. But JJ Redick, we know if he's getting hot with the shot, he can easily break the slate. So maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. Josh Hart has been really good the last 2 games, and I expect this to continue. He did come in that trade for AD, so they're very high on him, and he's definitely supposed to be getting run. Definitely in play for me tomorrow at 3,600. Not much to say. Great matchup, great spot. He's a guy that goes out there to score, and if he's making his buckets, then he's going to do good. He does a little bit of everything. He's not just scoring dependent. He does try and get rebounds. He does try and get assists and all that. Not as much. He's more than a scorer, but the rebounds is there. He fights for them, so he's in play for me. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's only in play for me if Lonzo's going to get reduced minutes and the coach is going to do something silly. Then he's in play for me. Nikolai Melli, he came back down to earth. People really were high on him yesterday, but after the comments from the coach yesterday where he said the starters would be playing more minutes, I kind of fell off of Melli myself. Kenrich Williams has been getting the minutes. He closed out the game yesterday, which was encouraging to see. At 3,200 against the Houston Rockets, I could see him having a decent game, especially this being a back-to-back. So he'd probably be the last guy I'd end up here. Okafor hasn't really been doing it for me. He's in a bad matchup here. Capella's going to destroy him. On to the Houston Rockets side, James Harden, Russell Westbrook. Am I going to play both of them? Yeah. Am I going to play them in the same lineup? Yeah. Am I going to be playing them together in the same lineup a lot? No. I'm not going to have these guys in the same lineup a lot. I might have a couple where I have these guys together because they both have tremendous upside, man. The pace of this matchup is ridiculously great. They both can see a great amount of usage. Harden, of course, is a safer play. Westbrook's going to be lower owned than Harden, naturally so. But if anything is to go by last game, Westbrook can have a really, really good game. He had a fantastic game last time around. Harden was the one that performed bad, and Westbrook was the one that performed good. So similarly, something like that can happen again. These guys are friends, man. People are talking about them arguing and stuff. You guys like are sissies or something. You never argued with somebody in your life or played a competitive sport. It's the heat of the moment. Those guys are brothers. That's how brothers talk. So clearly the media doesn't, bunch of sissies. Anyways, Westbrook, Harden are in play for me. Not that much together, but I'll definitely be playing both of them a lot tomorrow. Capella's the other guy I really like on the Houston Rockets team. He's a very fast-paced center. He runs a lot as a center. He's really going to be spreading the floor a lot for the Rockets to really give Harden and Westbrook a chance. But now Capella doesn't have just one elite passer. Capella has 2 elite passers he's playing with. If Harden's not passing him the ball, it's Westbrook. So Capella is going to have a lot of opportunities to have double-double games here. His tremendous double-double upside on any given night. And he's someone that could just go out there tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans and have himself a game. 7,600 is one of the more steeper prices for this position. But he's someone that could definitely go out and hit value. Aside from that, Eric Gordon is my favorite play here. He shot the ball 19 times he shot it. Only 4 for 19. 12 3-pointers. Everything else he didn't really do. He was essentially just catching and shooting. So he's very scoring dependent. But he's still getting 28 minutes. He's taking a lot of shots. And at this price, it's easy for him to hit value in this matchup in particular. The matchup, the price, the pace, All of these bode well for Eric Gordon. I like Eric Gordon a lot tomorrow. PJ Tucker, his price came up from 3,900, rightfully so. He had a decent game. He basically was making the shots Eric Gordon was supposed to be making. PJ Tucker's not known as a scorer. They don't usually use him as an offensive threat. He's mainly a lockdown defender. He does do the catch and shoot stuff, but he's mainly getting rebounds, trying to get steals, and just locking down the opposition's players. That's PJ Tucker's main job. Can he still score? Sure, but basically he took Eric Gordon's shots that day, his mojo. Daniel House Jr. is another guy that saw a decent amount of minutes off the bench. 26 minutes is fantastic for this price and this matchup. He's a real high flyer. He loves to jump high and get those dunks, get those rebounds, assists. Tries his hardest, at least anyways. He's really still trying to stake his name in this roster, but 26 minutes is a great sign for him. Tyson Chandler was someone that's at minimum price almost, is seeing a good amount of run here. Sorry, not a good amount of run here. He only saw 11 minutes. He had a very efficient game, but he only saw 11 minutes. They're going to use him more and more as the season progresses. So he's definitely someone to consider later down the line. Just maybe not tomorrow. But, I mean, 16 is not bad for 3K. You know, he can easily up that performance. He did well enough where they could play him. He did get into a little bit of foul trouble here, so I'm sure that kind of reduced his minutes. Maybe he gets 15 to 16 minutes. Someone to consider. Keep an eye on the news from if you get any indication if he's going to see a little bit of increase run. But that's basically it for the Rockets side. I'm not really too keen on anybody else. Raptors versus Chicago, another good game in my books. Chicago usually does well against the Raptors. They don't win, but they make it close enough. Siakam's price has increased again, 8,500. He's in a very favorable matchup here. I'm definitely be going to a lot of the Raptors starter here. Siakam 8,500 is going to be seeing a lot of minutes. Lowry 7,300, a lot of minutes. Van Vliet, a lot of minutes. Gasol, not as much minutes, but he had a really bad game yesterday. He scored 1 point, one real point. He was 0 for 4 from 3, 0 for 8 in general. 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 point, man. He was god-awful, horrible, terrible, bad. He himself said that he's glad that there's a game tomorrow. And I just look for him to bounce back. He's too experienced of a player to, sulk on that performance. He could have a back-to-back dud games, don't get me wrong, but I think Marc Gasol bounces back tomorrow. That was just way below his standards. His price is still up a little bit, but Marc Gasol is going to be the guy that I really am going to be playing tomorrow because I expect a bounce-back spot from him. It's a good matchup, and I expect a bounce-back spot from him. Ibaka played way better than Gasol yesterday. I was hoping that Ibaka would be closing out the game because Gasol was just so cold, but Nick Nurse did Nick Nurse things and played a little bit of favorites there in my opinion with Gasol. But Ibaka should have been the one closing out the game. Ibaka's just a good guy, man. Off the bench, he's been really, really well off the bench for the Raptors. Going back to the postseason, he made a huge difference. Real spark, strong, tough player coming off the bench. Really sets the tone. A lot of those rookie bench young guys really get caught off guard when they go up against Serge Ibaka. And there's another opportunity for him to show off here. Norman Powell, I think, gets a little bit more minutes here because it was a back-to-back. I think Lowry and Van Vliet get a little bit of a rest. Van Vliet did tweak his ankle in that previous game a little bit, so maybe there's a little bit of a problem here. He's a mad tough guy, though, so I don't expect him to really not play because of that. He's going to play, but maybe Nick Nurse takes a cautious approach here. Maybe Toronto takes a commanding lead, and that puts Norman Powell into the mix a little bit more. But someone else I like more than Norman Powell is OG Anunoby, man. He's getting too many minutes here. 37 minutes he played yesterday. 35 or 36 he played the day before. And his price has gone up now. But he's someone that's very productive on the court. He lets the game come to him. When he's playing with the starters, there's a lot of opportunity for him to catch and shoot. He's lots of rebounding opportunity. He did foul out of the game yesterday, so there's that. But he was in your face defense. He's starting, he's playing, he's going to get minutes, and he has a scoring upside too. Against Chicago, who's a much easier matchup defensively, he's going to have a really good time. As you can see in that first game, he shot the ball 12, but against Boston's defense yesterday, they held him back to 5. Boston just closes down on opposition really quickly. So that was what's happening with the Raptors yesterday. Look for a bounce back spot in general for all these Raptors. But OG is one guy at 4,400, and the amount of minutes he's playing is someone I definitely consider. Raptors are only playing the 8-man rotation, and with Stanley Johnson and Terrence Davis giving like some very limited run. Stanley played a little bit of minutes yesterday, 5, and Terrence played a little bit of minutes as well, but he was hooked early because this wasn't going for him. Yesterday, 8 minutes, got 6 DraftKings points yesterday. But yeah, Raptors are pretty straightforward with their limited rotation. Chicago Bulls are up against the Raptors. Markkanen had a horrible game yesterday. These guys are also on a back-to-back. So Markkanen's also in a pickup spot here, bounce back spot against the Raptors. He's going to be up against a slower Marc Gasol. Siakam's going to be there too, though, and Siakam's a decent defender. He might also be seeing a little bit of OG. So there's a lot of defensive schemes that will be run against Markkanen tomorrow to limit him, to reduce him. Aside from that, I don't really think Markkanen does good, truth be told. I'd rather go to some other people at this price point range. But LaVine is someone I'd definitely be playing, someone I'd be going to. LaVine kind of has a better matchup with Lowry and Van Vliet. Van Vliet's a very resilient, tough defender, but he is undersized, and LaVine's already on top form in this season so far. He's just going out there and just getting buckets, man. Just getting buckets. 37 real points in yesterday's game against Memphis. Yeah, the Raptors aren't as bad as Memphis, but LaVine has real upside here. He's going to look to score, and he usually does well against the Raptors, so I'll be considering LaVine in my lineups. Maybe not as much as some other guys, because I am really keen on Russell Westbrook and James Harden after all. I also like Trae Young a lot, but LaVine is someone I'd be going to as well. Wendell Carter Jr. didn't really have a great game. We got to keep an eye on that. If he's going to be playing proper minutes, I still don't really like him in his matchup against Ibaka, Gasol, Siakam. But he's someone that has a little bit of an upside here, right? So he can really go up, but the price is kind of putting me off at $5,800. I'd rather play Otto Porter, $700 less. Otto Porter did have some news that he might not be playing or something, but I think that's been put behind him. He's burned people already so far this season. He only played 21 minutes last game, which is a little bit concerning to me. Why did he play 21 minutes? I guess Thaddeus Young picked up some of the slack there. But things to consider, like why is Otto Porter playing only 21 minutes, right? 5,100 is really cheap. If he's playing closer to the 28 minutes, then I love him. I don't mind him. But if he's going to be playing 1 minutes with no foul trouble or nothing of that sort, then it's kind of confusing. He did have some sort of a problem. Let me just quickly check my Twitter. Otto Porter rest uncertain for Saturday. So that was 7 hours ago. I guess they updated it now, so he's good now. But keep an eye on the news just in case. Maybe we get something that he's not going to be playing. If he's not going to be playing, then Wendell Carter and Thaddeus Young in particular get an uptick for me. But aside from that, Chris Dunn at 3,900. He's still seeing a good amount of minutes here. Definitely in consideration, 26, 28 minutes. Definitely in play for me at this price point against the Raptors. He does good against the Raptors too. Last year he was starting against the Raptors, so definitely in play for me. And Thaddeus Young too. He's had a bad game yesterday. Should be in a bounce back spot. It is a back-to-back though, so that kind of worries me. They might limit his minutes a little bit, but keep an eye on the news for sure. And then Kobe White, 4,700. No, he's not going to do what he did yesterday against the Raptors, but there is a small chance it happens. I'm not going to chase it. Personally, I'm not going to chase it, but at 4,700, what he really needs is like 27. Can he get 27 tomorrow? Yeah. Even if he shoots the ball like 12 times, he can do it. He gets you rebounds, assists. He's a guy that's like a Lou Williams. He comes off the bench, provides a spark, and he can do it. So, consideration, sure. 100% in play, no. And Satoransky, not really. He's really splitting the minutes with Dunn. And he's $1,000 more than Dunn. I'd rather go to Dunn than I go to Satoransky here. Aside from that, not really interested in anybody else. Moving on to one of the worst games of the slate, in my opinion. This will be a very slow-paced game. I think Indiana just crushes the Cavaliers, but I've seen weirder things happen where it could turn out to be competitive. But Sabonis, he started off the season just like he left it. He's in great form. He's 46 DraftKings points in his first game against Detroit. Very efficient from the field. Always someone I consider when Indiana's on the slate. He just has a lot of upside, man. Some days he doesn't hit value, but he has a lot of upside. More often than none, he does well enough. He is the most expensive player on the team right now, so that kind of puts me off of him. In particular, if Jeremy Lamb doesn't play, then I'd rather go with Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon is a really good, efficient shooter. With Jeremy Lamb out of the picture, he's going to have more run, get to see the ball a little bit more, get to take a little bit more shots. The matchup against Cleveland's way better. So, 6,500 is pretty cheap for him, in my opinion. He can get you assists, rebounds, and he scores. Very efficient shooter. Miles Turner at 6,300 would probably be my favorite play here. He does really well against Tristan Thompson. He's coming off of a great game. He was 1A, 1B, 1C with Bojan, Sabonis, and Miles Turner last year. It was these three guys. It was between the three. So there's that. But if Lamb doesn't play, I really like Sumner. Coming off the bench the first game, he played 21 minutes. He got into a little bit of a foul trouble. So there is a little bit of a foul trouble problem with him to keep an eye on. Because I remember in preseason he also had something like that. But he has a lot of upside here. You can consider him at the $3,500 price range. If Lamb is out for sure, he should see a little bit more minutes. 28 minutes in my opinion. But I could be wrong on that too. So gotta really keep an eye on the news to see who's gonna be filling in for Lamb if he's out. If he plays, I don't mind Lamb, especially with the questionable tag, the matchup here. But all these guys are priced just a little bit too high with the same amount of usage. There's no clear-cut go-to guy here yet, right? Like, all of these guys can eat. Lamb wants his shots. Turner wants his shots. Brogdon wants his shot. Sabonis wants his shot. Even TJ Warren wants his shots, right? So, all these guys really want their shots, and then we won't really know who's at the top of the pecking order for a few more days. If I had to stake my bet on it, it would be Sabonis from the eye test. It's Sabonis, but Miles Turner is someone that's sometimes demanding for the ball too. So 1A, 1B, and Brogdon's the playmaker, of course. He's going to be feeding them. So there's that. But aside from that, I'm not really too interested in anybody else. On the Cleveland Cavaliers side, man, these guys suck. Kevin Love, he had a really good first game, but he's Kevin Love. He could go down with a back injury or some shit any minute, any second, any time of the week. At $8,400 DK dollars, I don't like him. Tristan Thompson, 5,700 in play for me. I like Tristan Thompson at 5,700. He's going to be seeing 33 minutes, some around there anyways. Tristan Thompson, someone that really goes out there, plays with his heart on the line, heart on his sleeve. Goes and get rebounds, double upside with him. So he's in play for me. Colin Sexton and Garland are in the same category, 5,200. A little bit too expensive for my taste, but they're both starting. They're both seeing a good amount of usage. The upside is with Garland. The floor is with Sexton. Sexton's the safer play. Garland's the riskier play, but Garland just has the bigger upside. Larry Nance at 5K. I like Larry Nance. I will consider Larry Nance at 5K. Again, like Thompson, he's a guy that goes out there and tries to compete. Another double threat. He didn't do it last game, but he got 14 rebounds in 27 minutes. So, and he was also going out there and shooting, and it was against Orlando. I like Larry Nance. 5K, sign me up. C.D. Osman's been playing shit in the preseason, but finally had a decent game in the regular season in 28 minutes. He got 24 DraftKings points. He was pretty decent with his shots, but not someone I really like at this price point range. Jordan Clarkson comes off the bench. If his shot's falling, sure, he's in play. But overall, not someone I really have in play for today's slate. Not really liking anybody on the Cleveland side aside from Tristan Thompson and Larry Nance. They're going to need their size really to match up with the Pacers. Next game, Washington versus San Antonio. I probably don't like anybody on the Washington side in particular because they're going up against San Antonio. But this is a different San Antonio team. It's not that typical defense grind you down San Antonio team. This is a San Antonio team with a DeMar DeFrozen, DeMar depressed. So, a Rudy Gay, DeMar Carroll. All these guys are flaky. They're not lockdown defenders. They have their moments where they fuck up, and it could be tomorrow. Bradley Beal at 9K is a little bit too expensive for me. As you can see, San Antonio is the worst matchup for him. DeJounte Murray is a pretty good defender, and Bryn Forbes as well. And the schemes Popovich runs will most likely look to limit Beal as much as possible and get the ball in someone else's hands. Thomas Bryant is a good matchup in a good matchup in my opinion. 7,100 is a great price for him. He's gonna be matched up with Poto Aldridge, and who else is there? Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles is a little bit of a surprise to me, but yeah, Trey Lyles is gonna be playing as well. But Thomas Bryant is a PPM monster. He's someone I really like. He was just like John Collins yesterday, but he just came out towards the second half of the season. John Collins was just doing it since day one, and John Collins we knew from the year before as well. But Thomas Bryant was an unknown commodity last year, and preseason he's continued his great games, and so far the first game of the season or 2 games so far he did really well. He's averaging 41 fantasy points at 7,100. Someone I definitely wouldn't mind going back to. He's getting 31 minutes per game. Yeah, San Antonio is a little bit of a bad matchup with the pace of the game and how Pop likes to limit the hot player and all that. But, man, Thomas Bryant, he should be a problem in this game. Another guy I really like is Hachimura at 5,100. Man, this guy seems like he's the real deal. Like, what can I say? I've liked what I saw from him. He took 20 shots last game, 15 shots the game before. And the San Antonio Spurs aren't really that much better than Dallas or OKC in my opinion. It's a similar type of matchup. Yeah, it's a back-to-back. But, man, this kid has a lot of upside. Lots and lots of upside. Definitely someone I'll be considering. Keep an eye on the news here, too, to make sure no BS is happening. And none of these guys are coming back and they're actually still out. Not that it makes a difference. But Jordan McRae being out is kind of a big deal. But, yeah, Hachimura, some guy I really like. Ish Smith, I'm not really keen on Ish Smith. Ish Smith could go out there and, make me say the whole night, look at the flick of the Ish. Because Ish Smith has a good flick of the wrist, but by no means a consistent guy. He plays minutes, but he doesn't really perform on most nights. He has upside, but the floor is really low. Isaac Bonga, 3,700, definitely in play for me here. Saw 24 minutes last game, got into foul trouble as well. But, yeah, he's someone that could be in play for me against San Antonio, especially, even though it is San Antonio. I don't mind Bonga. And then Davis Bertans, it's a revenge game for him. He used to be on the Spurs last season. He's been performing really well all preseason. He's coming off of a good game yesterday against OKC. He took 12 shots, made 5. In play for me for sure. 3,300, 3,500, someone that I'll be considering as a cheap play at this position for sure. And then Admiral Schofield, I said that he's someone I'd consider yesterday. He didn't really hit value, barely saw any minutes. But going forward, keep an eye on this kid. If there's any injury to any forward here, he's the next man up. So always keep an eye on that. On the San Antonio side, LaMarcus Aldridge, yeah, sure. I'm cool with Aldridge. I don't mind Aldridge. DeMar DeRozan had a really bad game. I think he was depressed. The Raptors won the championship rings, and he wasn't there, and he was just watching them collect the rings, so he was depressed. He had a very bad first 3 quarters. He really stepped it up in the fourth quarter to get a solid 24 fantasy points, but that's, like, horrible, man. We don't want 24 from DeMar. We need 40 from DeMar. Even more than 40. But in this matchup against Washington tomorrow, I like DeMar's chances. He really needs to pick it up, and he's someone that bounces back. He's known to drop a dud followed by a good game, so he's someone I'd consider. DeJounte Murray, definitely I'm considering. Washington sucks against point guards. Yeah, DeJounte Murray is in play for me, 5,700. As you can see, he's had a really good game already in the season, regular season. In preseason, he was smashing. Him and Bryn Forbes were taking turns going off. So maybe it's a Bryn Forbes spot, maybe it's a DeJounte Murray spot, but I have both of these guys in consideration. Like DeJounte Murray, I have Bryn Forbes here. He's $1,600 cheaper. Okay? $1,600 cheaper. He played 32 minutes last game. I can see him playing similar amount of minutes. He is the starter after all. Popovich already said that, and Popovich really likes this kid a lot. Derek White's not been seeing as many minutes and hasn't been performing like he was last year. Last year, he was just a match on fire, man. Like, people were like, oh, how did the Spurs keep fighting these guys? And, yeah, so far, Derek White has been grounded. He's back on Earth. He's no longer in outer space and orbit. He's grounded back on Earth. Maybe he takes off again. This is a good spot for him to take off, in all honesty. Washington does suck against point guards. And he's going to be the guy coming off the bench, one of the first guys coming off the bench. So definitely in consideration in that regard, but based on recent performances, someone I'm not going to be considering too much. Rudy Gay, same thing. I'm not really too keen on Rudy Gay. He had a really good game, but Rudy Gay some days can get benched. If this game blows out, then Pop is definitely going to bench him. One of the first guys to get benched will be Rudy Gay with his injury history. But yeah, DeRozan, I don't mind. I'm expecting a bounce back for him, but there's a lot of guys at this price I'd rather go to. DeJounte Murray, I like. Bryn Forbes, I really like. And Derek White, I'd give consideration to. Aside from that, Trey Lyles, he saw a good amount of minutes. He's ended up starting last game. I don't know if that's a trend going forward. He started over Jakob Poeltl, but yeah, he did all right for his price. He saw 24 minutes. If he's gonna see 24 minutes against Washington, I'll definitely be considering Trey Lyles today. Definitely can get it done. Patty Mills, if he gets hot, can always get it done, but that's just it. If he gets hot, there are now Bryn Forbes, DeJounte Murray, and Derek White. There's 3 solid guards over Patty Mills. However, Patty Mills is the vet, and he's gonna see run more often than not. Pop likes to keep his guy somewhat game ready, so he's still gonna see a little bit of run. But that's pretty much it for me on the San Antonio Spurs. I don't really know who I really get to here. Aside from Bryn Forbes, DeJounte Murray, and DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge would be in play, but there's other guys I'd go to at this price over him. And then these other guys, they have yet to play. Poeltl is the one other guy I'd consider. If Poeltl's starting over Trey Lyles, I'll play Poeltl. But if Poeltl is not starting, then I'll play Trey Lyles. Second last game, one of my least favorite games of the slate. Lots of uncertainty here. We don't know if Aaron Fox is going to play yet or anything of that sort. If he plays, he should be good, but his price is a little bit high here. There's a lot of other guards I'd rather go over De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox has a lot of upside, but his floor is always a little flakier in that regard. Usually when I play De'Aaron Fox, I'm hoping for the upside, not the floor. I'm only playing him because he can get me like 50 DraftKings points, but usually he doesn't get that. Buddy Hield at 6,100 for sure. I'll be playing. He's gonna be seeing Mike Conley, or not Mike Conley. Yeah, you'll see a little bit of Mike Conley. Mostly you'll be seeing Joe Ingles' defense. Joe Ingles is annoying, man. He annoys you when he's defending you. He's a really annoying defender. So maybe Buddy Hield gets annoyed. But he's in a great spot here at this price. I love it. And Utah's on a back-to-back too. Both of these teams are on a back-to-back. So maybe they don't give their guys total run, or maybe they do. But Buddy Hield's young. I expect him to get enough run here. If De'Aaron Fox is out, I really like Buddy Hield. I love Buddy Hield if De'Aaron Fox is out. But even if he's in, I still like Buddy Hield at this price. Bogdanovic had a decent game yesterday. 4,900. I don't really know if I'm going to turn to him. Harrison Barnes, for some reason, I feel like is going to be a really good pick today. He does well against Utah, like well enough that I remember like he's done well against Utah. It's been a while, but the slow pace is kind of more suited to Harrison Barnes anyways. He likes to take his time up and down the court, and Utah slows the game down a lot, so I like him because of that. His price is reasonable too, 5,000. He's going to see around 26 minutes, I think. 33 minutes last game, which I even like even more. So he's seeing around 30 plus minutes already. So yeah, definitely in play, especially with Marvin Bagley out. 4,900. He's a lot safer than Bogdanovic in my opinion. He's very scoring dependent. Harrison Barnes is too, but I don't know. I just have a good feeling about Harrison Barnes. It's my balls, man. My balls are telling me Harrison Barnes. Deadman against Gobert. Monsieur Rudy Gobert is a very good defender. I don't even know. But Deadman is I don't know. Deadman's coming off of a bad game yesterday. A lot of people really were like, oh, Deadman. Marvin Bagley's out. Deadman. Like, he's a dead man for a reason, bro. He's a dead man. He's dead man to my lineups. Dead man I'm not really too keen on. I'm going to be honest. Bielitsa, BJ, B-Jelly, whatever you want to call him. Bielitsa, 4K, definitely in play for me. He has a lot of upside. The floor is low. His shot really needs to fall for that. But if his shot's falling, then he's also... I'd consider him. Not too high in consideration, but someone I'd consider. Richaun Holmes... I was really high on Richaun Holmes yesterday. He's one of the guys that kind of let me down. But he was priced very cheap yesterday, so it wasn't too bad. 3,400, he got 21. Didn't kill me, but not what I was really expecting or looking for. I wanted a little bit more. I wanted a little bit more minutes too. I thought he was going to get like 24 minutes, but he only got 17. He did have foul trouble, so you got to remember that. He's seeing foul troubles. When you're reading these things and you see someone play less minutes, the first thing you should go to is foul troubles. Is it because of foul troubles? And yes, he had foul trouble. So That's why he didn't play as many minutes as I expected him to do, but he still did all right. Today, he's probably in another game here. He's probably going to see more minutes for sure if he doesn't get into foul trouble, so I'll have him consideration, but his price has been increased just like Bajelica's, but they're both somewhat in play. Corey Joseph at 16 or 3K. Yeah, he was a surprise for me. So far, I didn't think Sacramento would be using him all that much, but they are. And he's in a spot here where the matchup is not great, but he has a lot of upside. Corey Joseph is a great basketball player. His mom and dad were both basketball stars, so he's been given a proper uprising. He plays the game the right way. He's used to play on the San Antonio Spurs, so he's gone through Popovich's system. So he's a very mature player. When he's given a chance, he usually comes through. If for whatever reason De'Aaron Fox is injured, I flipping love Corey Joseph today, and he's someone I'd definitely be going to. But that's if De'Aaron Fox is out. Moving on to the Utah Jazz. Rudy Gobert is in play for me. The matchup is great. I don't really know who really stops Rudy Gobert tomorrow. Deadman's going to try, but Deadman, foul trouble, Deadman. Rashawn Holmes also foul trouble possibility. Gobert is just a very good defender. He's the defensive player of the year for a reason. So Gobert is in play for me tomorrow. Just hope the game is not blowout or anything like that. It's a close game, so Gobert gets his full allotment of minutes. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell's another guy I'm looking at, but 7,900 with some of these other guys in play. I don't really know how much I want to go with Donovan Mitchell, especially if De'Aaron Fox is out. Corey Joseph is a much better defender than De'Aaron Fox, and he's going to actually try to slow down Donovan Mitchell from scoring. He's not going to look to score as much as he's going to try to slow the other guy down. So Corey Joseph is a defense first point guard. If he ends up playing, I kind of don't like Donovan Mitchell or even Mike Conley for that matter. Mike Conley has 2 back-to-back duds. He's going to be super low owned, like super low ownership. So someone I like based on the super low ownership, his upside, but so far from what I've seen, he's yet to find his shot. Maybe he does. Hopefully he does if I play him. If I don't play him, then dud again. But yeah, I'd consider Mike Conley just based on the dud and the low ownership potential here, but that's about it. Bogdanovich is still out. Joe Ingles going to pick up his minutes, but look, Joe Ingles is going to really be defending more often than shooting. Yesterday he was up against LeBron, so he was really defending than looking to score. But against a Marvin Bagley, he might have a little bit more time to score here, a little bit more chance to score here. So 5,100 is not a bad price for Joe Ingles, who could get hot with the 3-point shot and really get it done for you. But yeah, I won't have him too much. There's other guys I like at that price. Royce O'Neal, 26 minutes. I like to see the minutes for the price. The matchup was bad against the Lakers yesterday. That was expected. But against the Sacramento Kings, he's in a much better matchup, a much faster paced matchup, and I would really like to consider Royce O'Neal in today's slate. Emmanuel Mudiay, same thing. If Mike Conley's shot's not falling, then Mudiay is going to have to go out there and try and get something done. He saw 15 minutes yesterday, 16. They keep rounding it up, but yeah, it was 15.3. I saw more minutes the game before, but the matchup yesterday was just bad against the Lakers. It was a bad matchup. Much better matchup against the Kings today, so he's someone that I'll have in my play, in my picks as well. And then the last game of the slate. Lots of low ownerships here for sure, but there's a lot of players that I like. Kawhi Leonard, of course. It's Kawhi Leonard. He can go out there and kill it, right? Kawhi Leonard. We know Kawhi Leonard. I'm not personally going to be playing Kawhi Leonard a lot. I don't usually play Kawhi Leonard a lot. I'm being honest. I don't play Kawhi Leonard a lot, but it's a good spot for him. On given nights, he can go out there and do it. It's just he doesn't need to on most nights. You know, they already get it done. I think this game's a blowout. They're on a back-to-back here, Phoenix. They just played an overtime game. A lot of their guys fouled out just like 3 fouled outs in a row. Like 3 guys fouled out in one free throw sequence. There was a free throw, so someone got fouled out, and then during the free throw, Oubre got fouled out, and then after the free throw, someone else got fouled out. So 3 fouls in overtime. They all fouled out. These guys put a lot of minutes under the belt yesterday, the Phoenix Suns, so they're probably going to be tired, lethargic, whatever you want to call it. Clippers are going to come in here and just doghouse them, beast them, destroy them, feast. It's going to be a feast for these Clippers. Kawhi Leonard, of course, in consideration. Lou Will's price a little bit too high, considering he might not even see any of the fourth quarter. Just this past game, he saw 29 minutes against Golden State because they were blowing them out, right? So I feel like something similar to that here. I don't really like Lou Williams based on that. Montrezl Harrell at 6,200. Yeah, I don't mind him. He can go out there and eat. really good matchup for him. And he's someone that just goes out there and eats anyways. But like Lou Williams, he was reduced in this blowout scenario. And if it's a blowout, I think Montrez doesn't see the floor that much. Pat Beverly, I kind of like here. Pat Beverly, Landry Shamet, I like both of these guys. Harkless, Zubac, I like both of these guys as well. These guys are playing decent minutes. Zubac in particular at this price point range is someone I'd really turn to. He really killed it that last game in 18 minutes. He just destroyed the Golden State Warriors. So he's coming off of a little bit of a hot streak, and with that in his bag, and they're going to look to get him involved. One thing to know about this Clippers team is they're very, very close together. All these players, all of their wives, their girlfriends, they're all really good friends. All of them. They're always chilling, hanging out together, and Zubac's girlfriend's part of that mix too. Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, all these guys, their girlfriends are always with each other, and they have a camaraderie. They're always chilling, hanging out together. And the reason why I say that is I say that because as the season progresses, Zubac is going to become more and more and more a part of this team. He was traded halfway through the season last year. He is a European player, but he's just damn good, and he's someone that at that position, he's their tallest center. And Montrezl Harrell, for better or for worse, is a small ball center or a power forward. And if they want to match up against some of these other teams, not that they can't going small ball, but Ivica Zubac's got to be that guy, and more often than not, I like Zubac tomorrow, 4,200 against the Suns. I don't mind him at all. I really like him. Harkless, if he gets hot, sure. Samet, if he gets hot, sure, I like him. Beverly's just a dog. He's going to go out there and try to stop Devin Booker and do his thing. I think he does a little bit better fantasy points-wise tomorrow. Maybe takes a little bit more shots. But in hindsight, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, I like Beverly, but against Phoenix, it's going to be a really fast-paced matchup in that regard. A lot of opportunity to score. He doesn't really have anybody he really needs to defend. Devin Booker kind of takes himself out of the game if he's not shooting well. But yeah, Beverly, I do have some consideration. I am looking at Beverly tomorrow, but Zubac's the one guy I really, really like. Patterson had a really good second game. He had a shitty first game, but the second game he really picked it up here. 27 DraftKings points at 3K. He was starting 28 minutes, so he's another guy that's in play. However, if it's he's actually a safe play. My 3,100 for Patrick Patterson. He's just very on and off. Like, he could easily do what he did the previous game and get you 8. Right, like, he's very dependent on like scoring, but some days he's on and some days he's off. From his Raptors days, I remember him very, very well, and he's someone that would drive me nuts on the Raptors. Patty P, man. But yeah, he just had a really good game last game. I feel like a lot of people pick him because of that, and I feel like he burns them. So I personally would stay away from Patrick Patterson, but just based on his production last game and the amount of minutes he played, the price is still 3,100. The matchup is fantastic. He's definitely going to be in play for me. And then the last game of the slate, I'll try to wrap this up a little bit. We're at a 1 hour mark. My God. Devin Booker. Not really liking the matchup here with Devin Booker. Ricky Rubio, Ricky Rubio's matchup, I don't really like the matchup. He's probably going to be tired too. He played a lot of minutes yesterday, back-to-back. But someone that could go out there and perform. He does better in worse matchups. The tougher the matchup, the better Ricky Rubio performs, in my opinion. So I like him based on that. Kelly Oubre at 6K, definitely in play for me with DeAndre Ayton out of the equation. Aaron Baines, 4,800. I'd rather go to Kaminsky. Kaminsky was just way more productive than Aaron Baines. And I already knew that before all the news came out and everything. And Aaron Baines did have foul trouble, so there's that to consider. He did have a good game, but he's just a foul machine, man. He's going to get into foul trouble here, too. He's a feisty guy. He's a little aggressive, hothead sometimes, so I could see him getting into a little bit of a tussle with Harrell here and there, Beverly and all that. So I'd rather go to Kaminsky, a better shooter in my opinion, but just getting less minutes. So if Kaminsky's going to be getting more minutes than Baines, I really like Kaminsky. However, I only like Kaminsky if he's coming off the bench. If he's starting, I don't like Kaminsky if he's starting, but if he's coming off the bench, I don't mind him. And then honorable mention, Javon Carter. He was only playing yesterday because some of these guys are in foul trouble, so he got a little bit extended run. I don't really think he's going to do anything today, so he's someone I'm going to completely ignore. Mikal Bridges might be in play, but he's not getting the minutes, so no. He was a starter last year, got a lot of minutes, a lot of runs last year, but So far, not doing it. So yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up here, guys. That's it's a 1 hour video. Quickly, I'm just gonna create a lineup here for you guys. Just a quick thought process, what I'm thinking here, what I really like, what I'm really going with. I really like Bryn Forbes. I really like Chris Dunn as a cheap punt. But let's just try and go with some of my top plays first. Between Harden and Westbrook against New Orleans, I'm willing to go Westbrook. Actually, let's just take Westbrook back. I'll start with the center first. Center, Embiid. I want Embiid. In my power forward slot, Siakam's 400 less than Kawhi. Cool. Thomas Bryant, Tatum. Oh yeah. One guy I definitely want is Brown. He's definitely in my lineup. I could go with Kaminsky here, but not really feeling that right now. I see how the rest of the lineup turns out first. But power forward here, power forward. I honestly don't mind Hachimura or Larry Nance. Like, I like both of these guys. Hachimura, the matchup kind of scares me, but you know, I'm gonna go with Robert Williams here. Okay. Gonna go with Eric Gordon. Let's do that. Okay, 6,600 per pot. Okay. Some of these Washington guys really good value here, so let's turn to them for some value. Bongo or Bertans. Bertans' revenge game. I kind of like the revenge game narrative, but it is against the Spurs. That's the only thing that it's against the Spurs that kind of puts me off of that. New Orleans with Josh Hart, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You know what? I'm gonna go with Kenrich Williams. I have a good feeling about Kenrich Williams based on what I saw last game. He was closing out the game, and the price is decent. The matchup is good. It's gonna be a really high-paced game. I don't want to play Kenrich Williams. I don't know. I'll take him off for now again. Let's see what we're working with here. We need a guard. Let's go back to point guard here. Which point guard do I really like for the price? Who do I really like? I like Lonzo Ball. In all honesty, I really like Lonzo Ball. But I also like Fred VanVleet. He has an easier matchup. You know what? Let's go with both of these guys. Lonzo, and let's go with say Buddy Hield. Nah, I'll go with Lonzo. Alright. Do we want to pay up here, or do we want to pay down here? Is there any stud that I really like that I don't have in my lineup? Like, so far I'm not really digging this, truth be told. There's too many flakiness here in this line. Like Robert Williams, like, yeah, he's gonna play, but how well is he gonna play? Don't really know. Eric Gordon, is he gonna make his shots? Jaylen Brown, you're gonna be the same Jaylen Brown from yesterday? He's gonna be high owned though, so I don't mind that. Even if he does bad, it's alright. VanVleet at 6,200. Do I really want a VanVleet? Let's go, Lonzo. Lonzo, you're in, buddy. So Lonzo's in. I'm gonna hold off on him for now. On our friend. Detroit. Do we have any value on Detroit? Like, honestly, I wouldn't mind playing Tony Snell, knowing that he plays like this many minutes. Like, that's a lot of minutes, man. 33 minutes. It's a lot of minutes, man. Levine against the Raptors should be good. Raptors are shooting a lot of threes. But at the same time, I love the DeJounte Murray versus Washington play. I gotta go there. DeJounte Murray versus Washington is a lock for me. And then, what do we have here? I really like Larry Nance and Hachimura, man. Like, Hachimura's a starter. Larry Nance is off the bench. Hachimura took 20 shots. Hachimura, you're in. It's just a matchup though with Hachimura I don't like. Yeah, I'm just going with Larry Nance. He's gonna be more feisty, and I feel more comfortable with Larry Nance. And then of course we're $100 away from James Harden, who I really just wanted to stick in there. Alright, we're gonna have to do something else. Larry, bye bye. Kelly Oubre versus the Clippers, no. Gordon Hayward with Jaylen Brown, no. Wendell Carter against Shano, no. Al Horford, I honestly don't mind Al Horford. He could have a good game, Al Horford. But, I mean, he's going to be trying to defend first, right? So, that's the issue with him. And there's a lot of mouths to feed on that team. Is there anyone else I could drop here, maybe? Maybe I'll take Duhunte and I'll just put Westbrook in the top here. And then I got 5,800 to work with. Do I want to play Montrezl Harrell, Buddy Hield? See, this is what I'd rather go with here. I'd rather go with, like, Tobias Harris, and then I have 5,500 to pick a point guard. So 5,500 for a utility, actually, not even a point guard. This could be a decent play in my books, or this. You know what? This is kind of gonna take forever. It is a first look lineup, so let's stick Kaminsky. Let me put Kaminsky there. No, but I can't, man. Robert Williams gonna be getting a lot more minutes. That's why I have him here. Oh, done. Marcus Gasol. That's what I wanted. Alright, I'm playing that. That's my lineup for the day, guys. I might take out Kaminsky and put in that Williams guy there. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. It's 1 hour 11-minute video. I think I talk a lot. I gotta come up with a script or something. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate anybody that tunes in and stays until this long of the video. Good luck tonight. I wish you all the best. And sorry again for the late video. Good luck tonight, guys. See you in a couple of hours for tomorrow's slate. Good luck. Bye-bye.